Well, folks, Samoa get the job done, and with it, the Pacific Nations Cup is theirs. First win over Fiji in a number of years. We're going to go through some key events and thoughts on this game, and you guys can have any thoughts. But first of all, big congratulations to Samoa. That's a bit of an upset win. They've been, I think, better than a lot of people expected in this tournament. And I remember in my youth, Samoan team was always, a really cracking, threatening team. They've been on a decline seemingly in the last few years, but maybe this is an indication that they're going to reclaim some of that former glory. Either way, it was a good win, 23 points to 20. And a bit of a comeback, man, because they were looking not quite dead and buried, but it was not looking that fun for them at halftime, you'd have to say. I mean, the game starts with a bit of Fijian pressure. Maul, the Fijians want tries. I mean, they've seen what the Tongans have done to Australia, with the maul. They go for the maul their own. First attempt gets advantage. Second attempt, not straight. And that's a little bit of the story of the game for the Fijians. Sometimes their execution was just not on point. I mean, Samoa's exit got them into the Fijian half for the first time in a wee while after about 10 minutes. And they actually took the first points of the game through Rodney Iona with a penalty. And it's his boot, looking at the scoreboard, which really helps keep Samoa in front in this one. I think without that, it would have been a bit more of an uphill battle, but he did really well. 14 minutes, Fiji, no, it's closer to 20. Fiji get the first try. Couldn't tell if it was a 4 or a 9 on my notes. It's 19. It had been coming for a while. It's Tuisui. That's the back of the scrum again, man. Not back of the scrum, back of the maul. He's a big unit. They were honestly under pressure for so long, Samoa. I was kind of surprised they held out as long as they did. But they get the try. So 7 points to 3. But, I mean, to be fair, Samoa did have, even if they didn't get any points from it, they did have a few chances in that first half. They had a kind of bunch of phases. They mauled it. Eventually, they just knock it on. Looking at the Fijians, we're going to counter, but and again, back for the knock on. So nothing really going right for the Samoans in the first half. And you could probably flip that on its head and say the same is true with the Fijians in the second half. Big Fijian scrum in the second half. Second part of the first half sees Lomani go over. I mean, they had advantage. He steps in, he steps out, he's going over. 14 points to 3. Samoa under more pressure come the close of the first half. Fiji can't break them down, but they do get a penalty. So come half time, it's 17 points to 3. This is a big comeback, folks, away from home. Fiji only get 3 points in this entire second half. Samoa come back from only having 3 points on the board to get another 20. It's quite a comeback. I know it's not going to get the headlines tomorrow that all the other games are going to get, like the All Blacks in Ireland and South Africa and Wales, but this is a big comeback, man. Second half, Samoa need a try, and they get it. They get it pretty much from the outset. Talela Lam gets 2 in this game. It's a penalty. It's a great kick for touch. It's a line-out, it's a maul, and it's a try. We've seen a lot of maul tries in this Pacific Nations Cup, to be fair. 17-10, that's kind of coming back to game 1. Now at the level on 48 minutes, he's just not able to make that final pass. Hey, when he played in the first week, everything that guy was touching was turning to gold. But this week, it's like an offload that doesn't stick. It's a pass that doesn't go to hand. Samoan defense hold. They do concede a penalty, so it's 20 points to 10. It's back to a 2-score game. But, you can feel like maybe it's going to be a bit of a turnaround. To be fair, at that moment, I'm still not thinking it's going to be a turnaround, if I'm brutally honest. Fijian offside penalty. And another great kick for touch from Iona means they're 5 meters out. The Samoan guys end up knocking it on, but they still manage to get the 3 points out of it. They go back for the advantage. They opt for the 3. It's kind of one of those crucial ones. Like if you can't get the 7, at least come away with the 3. You kind of get back to within that 7-point margin. Samoa have a bunch of more pressure, but it's another knock on, so it's a little bit of a let off. But then 63 minutes, it's another penalty from Iona. I mentioned him at the start about how important his game was to keep the scoreboard going over in his distribution. A good example of that, clutch penalty, 20 points to 16, 4-point game. Samoa in a scrum penalty on 66 minutes, and I should say, up until this point, the Samoan scrum's been under a fair bit of pressure. Like I mentioned, it kind of directly led to the Lomani try. But Samoan scrum on 66 minutes, another penalty on 68 minutes means they opt for touch. They maul it, and they go over. It's lamb again. So suddenly, man, against everyone's expectations, Samoa is ahead with about 10 minutes to go. 23 points to 20. Do Fiji have a chance to come back? Absolutely they do. You know Fiji are not going to be dead and buried at home. Their fans are getting behind them. They're knocking on the door of the Samoan defence. There's a bit of handbags between these boys. We haven't seen much in the way of kind of handbag stuff in this entire tournament, but we do see some there. Fiji get a penalty on 79 minutes. Do they want the draw? No, they don't. They want to go for the win. But the line out, man, it's loose ball. The Samoan boys pounce on it. They kick it out. Game is over. Samoa get the win. With that, they go through this tournament 3 games from 3. And it's a fantastic end to the competition for them. Means Australia A don't get their hands on the trophy. Means Fiji in this competition 1 from 3, which is pretty disappointing. But that second half, man, it was a bit of a turnaround, wasn't it? It was all Fiji in the first half, all Samoa in the second. So big congratulations to them, to the players, to the coaching staff, the families, everybody. That's a really, really massive result. As I said, I'm kind of optimistic about where things can go. Obviously, it's a big step from here to the World Cup next year, but we'll still see if these guys can get some more game time together. We can kind of see what they're about. Again, if you want Samoan gear, this very jersey I'm wearing is on sale for Level Rugby. Down in the description, it's like £22, which is pretty reasonable for rugby jerseys. It's like 40 odd bucks New Zealand, seeing as mostly they go for like 150. So yeah, pretty solid discount if you want to check that out. Link in the description. Otherwise, I will say congratulations again to Samoa. Commiserations to the other teams, but we've still got Tonga in action next week for a World Cup qualifier. But yeah, you guys have any thoughts on the game? And yeah, talk to you guys again soon. See you later.